Hey, how's it going, everyone? It's Nigel here, and today I have a very important video for you. So this might be one of the most important videos that I ever share with you. And this is coming straight from the heart because I truly believe that meditation is the highest ROI practice that anybody can do for all areas of your life, but also specifically for these overlooked areas and how meditation impacts your life. For example, within business, finance, and mental health. And I've been meditating consistently over the past 4 years, and I've been learning a lot. I've been experimenting. I figured out a meditation routine that works best specifically for me and my goals and how I'm wired. And I will confidently say that meditation is one of the biggest reasons why I'm at where I'm at today, with where I'm at in terms of my finances and my career, where I'm at in terms of my mental health. A lot of the mental health issues that I was able to overcome a few years ago, and as well as being a better man and being more grounded and centered and less emotionally reactive, so I can have better relationships. And now I'm in an amazing, 2-year relationship so far, and it's been so where meditation typically impacts your life. Most people obviously think that yes, it makes you more focused, you're less susceptible to distraction, and that's really important because in today's modern day and age, there's all of these different technology platforms, social media, a lot of stimulus coming at us, trying to distract us and pull us into all kinds of different directions. And so when you can meditate, essentially what it does is it trains your brain to move from a distracted point to a something more, back to the present moment. So for example, let's say this is your mind. So your mind might be focused for a bit and there's a distraction. You're distracted, and then you catch that distraction and you go back to the present moment, and then you go back to it. But that's a plus one. That's like a push up for the brain. And you keep doing this over time. Distracted, come back. Distracted, okay. You're less distracted, and now you're even less distracted. And then over time, what happens? These peaks of how long and how often you get distracted decrease over time when it comes to meditation. And what that allows you to do is you are better able to focus longer and then be less distractible. So that's incredibly important for pretty much all areas of your life. The other areas is that you become better at decision making, right? So, essentially the essence of your life is the culmination of all of the different decisions that you make in your life. Right. And the thing is, in each decision that you make has its certain effects after it. So if you're better able to meditate and be in the present moment and make decisions from that place, from the heart and from your intuition, you'll naturally make better decisions over time. And meditation helps you produce that, and you become less reactive in the moment. You're able to take a step back, and you're able to not be so caught up in the emotion of what's going on at the time, and you're really able to make decisions from a more level-headed place, emotionally and mentally. And by the fact of you making better decisions, that changes your life trajectory in all certain areas in your life. Like, this even comes down to people, preventing you from dying, for example, right? Like, there's people that make very poor life decisions, and I would argue that if they were someone that was able to have a steady meditation practice over time, they would be more likely to not make those poor decisions. Okay. This even comes back to your mental health, right? So for example, like, people think that, for example, all this money and fame and success is what creates life fulfillment and all your problems will be solved. And, money, status, success, and fame and all that stuff, that's great, right? And like, if it comes, enjoy it for sure. But what happens is when that's only your North Star and you don't have good mental health and you're not connected to yourself spiritually, and are able to process your emotions and be able to not be beat up by all of these intrusive thoughts. There's a lot of really rich people out here that have really poor mental health. And a lot of these people, they end up killing themselves, right? There's rich, successful people that end up killing themselves. So think about that. What is the point of working so hard and trying to progress in all these different external areas of life if your quality of life from a mental aspect, your mental health is poor, and you're dealing with a lot of anxiety and depression? What's the whole point if you don't have strong mental health? So I truly believe that mental health is the foundation. And I think that by meditating and improving your mental health, right, by improving your level of focus, being less susceptible to distraction, being less reactive, when that fame and success and money comes into your life, you're in a better position to be able to handle it. So that's really important. The next thing is that in general, ever since I noticed that I've been meditating consistently over the past few years, my overall mood and my overall vibe about myself has improved. And this is incredibly important when it comes to, making money, cultivating better relationships, and literally just doing anything, in life, right? Whether that's training in the gym, or whether that's building a business, or that's, doing sales calls, for example. And people, okay, Nigel, well, okay, that's great. Like, how does your mood and your vibe help you make more money and progress in these areas in your life? Well, there's one aspect that, there's this concept that I learned from this YouTuber called Joe Hudson, is that joy equals efficiency. So think about, you have to do some sort of task, right? Let's say, for example, you know, May comes around, and it's time for us to do our taxes, and you are dreading it. You're likely to procrastinate, and you're likely to not want to do it, and you'll probably do it poorly because you're just not focused, and you're being torn, pulled by all these different distractions. But when it comes to something that is fun for you to do, it's very easy for you to do. It doesn't require a lot of energy for you to do, and you probably likely will be focused and will be good at it. So if you're able to enjoy whatever it is that you're doing, by having a better overall mood and vibe, you'll be more efficient energetically, and you'll probably be more focused and more effective at that thing. And the other thing too is, when you have a better mood and a better vibe and you interact with other people, you're better able to be more trusted, to be in a state to relate to people, to influence people. And that's the essence of making money. Because think about it, you actually can't technically make money. You can only receive money from other people, or if you already have money, use that money to invest in assets that can then bring in more money, right? So for most of us that aren't in positions where we don't inherit a lot of wealth, we have to learn how to receive money from other people. And so you are in a much better position to receive more money and at higher frequencies of money when you are in that better mood and that better vibe, which is, where kind of this whole law of attraction comes in. Who are you more likely to give money and want to do business with? The person that has a low and drab mood and vibe, or the person that's vibing with life and they feel good and they have a really high mood? Okay. So that's where meditation impacts you. And, you might be asking, okay, Nigel, well, hey, how do you get started with this, right? Meditation sounds good. I'm kind of sold on it. How does it work? So I'll tell you my journey and how it started. So for me, I learned the most basic and simple meditative techniques, right? So the one that we all kind of know about and is, taught to us in Western culture is the concept of mindfulness, where you essentially just sit there and you close your eyes and you try to just, focus on your breath, and it's called like an open awareness type of meditation. You're just being very aware of everything that's going on. So that's like mindfulness, right? But there's a bunch of other techniques that actually might be more geared to certain people, especially if you are, have things like ADHD, or let's say you are dealing with trauma and things like this, are more so these focusing type of techniques, and also breath focused techniques as well. And so I learned these online. So there's a few basic ones. There's like alternate nostril breathing. There's like the Wim Hof-ish type of method. There's this method called bellows breath that's similar to that, where you focus on a lot of quick exhales, and then at the end you do one really big inhale and you slow down your breathing. that one, I love that one. That one is one of my favorite techniques as well. So there's some very simple breathing and focusing meditation techniques you can learn online. I learned from Dr. K at Healthy Gamer. He has a lot of very good informative videos showing you how to do it. And so I would just start with the most simple, basic meditative techniques. And then after that, I would start small and simple, right? And a lot of meditation people, they say, oh, you need to meditate for 20 to 30 minutes, and that can seem very daunting and very difficult for someone that's just starting out. So what I did was I said, you know what, if I can just meditate for as low as as little as 2 minutes in a session, to me, that's a win. Instead of beating myself up that I can't do these 20 to 30 minute sessions, because let's be real, like when you're first starting to meditate, like you're going to be itching and scratching. You'd be like, oh, this is boring. This isn't working. Oh, I'm not good at meditation. Oh, I'm distracted. And it's just going to be difficult. And you're probably won't stick to it if that's like your mindset. So I would say lower the barrier to entry and go as low as 2 minutes when it comes to your meditation, and then slowly increase over time. Right. Let's say for a whole week, you do as simple as, hey, 2 minutes of meditation of a simple technique of, let's say, alternate nostril breathing or something else. And then once you do that, then okay, the next week we'll do 3 minutes every day. And then we'll do 4 minutes and 5 minutes, and then all the way up until we can get to that 20 and 30-minute meditation sessions. Okay. And just get in the habit of being consistent and then slowly progressing over time to those longer sessions. Right. So that's what I did. And when you're able to kind of string together these consistent sessions over time, you actually start to look forward to meditate, and it becomes a habit. And then also you do get better at these meditation techniques as well. So the level of effectiveness and the intensity of focus that you have on these techniques, the better what I call meditative yield or effects that you should get over time. So it's almost kind of like if you're familiar with going to the gym, you can, this is kind of like going to the gym, but for yourself on a, mental health and a spiritual aspect. Okay. And then from there, I would start focusing on the frequency of the sessions and the intensity of the sessions. Okay. And so for me, what I started doing is, okay, well, now I'm going to do, 2 sessions a day, right? Or let's say 3 sessions a day. And then like how I would fit these in, I would strategically do meditation sessions before, let's say, important parts of the day. So I would always do a meditation session at the beginning of the day, right? After I kind of wash up, I drink some water, I'll do a meditation session right then and there. It's a perfect way to set the bar for the day. I set a very good foundation, set a good vibe for the day, and then there I go. And then I'll also add another session if, let's say, I have to do something very important. Let's say get on a sales call, with a potential prospect. Or let's say, I'm going to go film a YouTube video, for example. I'll do a meditation session before then. And then also, I'll also do meditation sessions, let's say, when I'm feeling very emotionally charged and overwhelmed. And I would meditate to kind of process through those thoughts and emotions and get to an equilibrium state. So that's kind of how I got started. I would say the name of the game here is just to keep it simple. The simpler, the better. Start small and start simple. You don't got to be, the Buddha today or tomorrow. You don't got to reach moksha or enlightenment today or tomorrow. Like, just any bit of progress is better. Hey, if you started from zero and you meditate for 2 minutes a day, that's progress, and celebrate that and feel good about it. Right? It's when we start beating ourselves up and we get all anxious and, oh, why is this not working? That's when things kind of go haywire. So keep it simple, be consistent, slowly progress over time in the intensity of the technique, how long you do it, and the frequency. And then, so let's say you end up doing this after a while. I would say don't expect a lot of result. I would say do it for at least 8 weeks. 8 weeks before you start, asking yourself, okay, where are the results? And typically after this standpoint, you get a lot of effects, right? So the most immediate ones that you'll probably notice, you'll feel within yourself, is that you're going to be less anxious, less depressed, worried, and you'll have a better overall mood, and your emotions will be in check. So I can validate this 100%. So I would say in the past 5 to 8 years, 5 and 8 years ago, I was dealing with a lot of anxiety. I had panic attacks every now and then. I was overly worried. I was highly reactive and distractible. And once I started meditating, like I never really had issues like this anymore, right? Like I never really had, feelings of like general anxiety or onsets of panic. And if I did feel a little bit, because I was highly trained in meditation, I was able to divert and focus my mind back into the present moment and into better feeling thoughts and emotions. Okay, so that's huge, right? And then obviously you're less distractible and more focused at work, right? Which is really good for um, you know, today's working environment, because most people are distracted. People are they're on their phone, they're scrolling TikTok, they're doing this, they're doing that. Like the tension's all over the place, and people can just focus on just like one thing, right? And then the next thing is like you'll have better relationships. This is another one. I had a few relationships in the past, and I was always highly emotional. It was hard for me to be empathetic and be compassionate with the people. It was hard to try to work through conflicts and communicate effectively. And through meditation, like I am a much better person when it comes to communicating, being empathetic, resolving conflict. And so not only has my romantic relationships been better, right? So I've been in a relationship for about 2 years now, and it's been the best relationship that I've ever had. And I would really say that we've truly built something great. And I would chalk up a lot of that to the meditative practice that I built up. So, not only has my romantic relationships been, but my work relationships have been better. I've been able to be more entrusted at work in my software sales job. I'm better relate to a lot of the clients that I work with. Okay. And, all of this relates to is actually me making more money and progressing in my career. Just become better able to relate to people. And the essence of business, a lot of it really is cultivating really strong relationships. And if you're able to do that, inadvertently, what's going to happen? You'll have more money and success, right? And so, a lot of people, they're very money and success driven, which is great, right? But I would say, one of the biggest levers that these business people can pull is, hey, well, take a step back. Let's take some time to actually try to meditate and to try to focus on these other areas, which will then, by second order effects, help you get more money and success, right? And then, the more kind of, esoteric spiritual awareness, piece of connection, you'll absolutely have that. And to be honest, as someone that is starting to enter this phase a lot more, you truly feel like you have fulfillment and a sense of purpose in life beyond just the external. And it all kind of comes together. So you feel better internally about yourself. You're more connected to yourself. You feel like you can understand what your purpose is. You can relate to people better. But then when it comes to a lot of these external things like money and success and your relationships and life, you're better able to have more gratitude for them. Gratitude, right? And it's truly a beautiful thing. And so, after meditating for well over 4 or 5 years now, I can truly say that it's been the highest ROI activity that I've done, and it's something I prioritize every single day. And I've noticed that my life always becomes more difficult when I start falling off of my meditation practice. And over time, when I bring myself to come back into, a consistent and dedicated meditative practice, my life always tends to get better. All of the other areas of my life tend to get better. My relationships, my work, my job, my connection to myself, my inner peace and sense of purpose all gets better when I start focusing on that. So let me know in the comments, if you found any benefits to meditation so far, what your practice looks like. And I'll see you next time. And we'll make more videos about meditation. I love it. So cheers.